Welcome to Catholic Daily Mass Readings. Today is Sunday, the 24th of May, 2026, Pentecost. Today we celebrate Pentecost. We are in the season of ordinary time. Today's Catholic Mass readings invite us to reflect on the gift of the Holy Spirit and the transformative power it brings to our lives. The readings remind us that the Holy Spirit is a source of unity, joy, and peace, and that it enables us to communicate and connect with others in profound ways. As we celebrate the coming of the Holy Spirit, we are called to open our hearts and minds to its presence, and to allow it to renew and guide us. Through the Holy Spirit, we are empowered to forgive, to heal, and to spread the message of God's love to all people, just as Jesus sent his disciples to do, and we are reminded that with the Spirit, we can accomplish great things and bring joy and peace to those around us. A reading from Acts, chapter 2, verses 1 to 11. When Pentecost Day came round, they had all met in one room, when suddenly they heard what sounded like a powerful wind from heaven, the noise of which filled the entire house in which they were sitting, and something appeared to them that seemed like tongues of fire. These separated and came to rest on the head of each of them. They were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak foreign languages as the Spirit gave them the gift of speech. Now there were devout men living in Jerusalem from every nation under heaven, and at this sound they all assembled, each one bewildered to hear these men speaking his own language. They were amazed and astonished. "Surely," they said, "all these men speaking are Galileans? How does it happen that each of us hears them in his own native language?" Parthians, Medes and Elamites, people from Mesopotamia, Judea and Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt and the parts of Libya round Cyrene, as well as visitors from Rome, Jews and proselytes alike, Cretans and Arabs, we hear them preaching in our own language about the marvels of God. A reading from 1 Corinthians, chapter 12, verses 3 to 7 and 12 to 13. No one can say, "Jesus is Lord," unless he is under the influence of the Holy Spirit. There is a variety of gifts but always the same Spirit. There are all sorts of service to be done, but always to the same Lord, working in all sorts of different ways in different people. It is the same God who is working in all of them. The particular way in which the Spirit is given to each person is for a good purpose. Just as a human body, though it is made up of many parts, is a single unit because all these parts, though many, make one body, so it is with Christ. In the one Spirit we were all baptized, Jews as well as Greeks, slaves as well as citizens, and one Spirit was given to us all to drink.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John, chapter 20, verses 19 to 23. In the evening of the first day of the week, the doors were closed in the room where the disciples were, for fear of the Jews. Jesus came and stood among them. He said to them, "Peace be with you," and showed them his hands and his side. The disciples were filled with joy when they saw the Lord, and he said to them again, "Peace be with you. As the Father sent me, so am I sending you." After saying this, he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit. For those whose sins you forgive, they are forgiven. For those whose sins you retain, they are retained." Take a moment to reflect. Jesus said to the apostles, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I send you." Then he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit. Whose sins you forgive are forgiven them, and whose sins you retain are retained." This moment, recounted in John's Gospel, marks Jesus' first appearance to the apostles as a group after his resurrection. By breathing on them, Jesus conferred the authority to forgive sins, a power that would become the foundation of the sacrament of reconciliation. This gift was a precursor to the fuller outpouring of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, when the apostles would be empowered to carry out their mission with boldness and divine strength. In breathing on the apostles, Jesus echoed the creation story in Genesis, where God breathed life into Adam. Now, as the new Adam, Christ breathed new life, the divine life of grace, into his apostles. Although this breathing conveyed the Holy Spirit in an anticipatory way, Pentecost would represent the full bestowal of the Spirit upon the Church, sanctifying and empowering the apostles and all disciples. The story of Pentecost, as told in the Acts of the Apostles, describes a dramatic scene. A strong driving wind filled the house where the apostles were gathered, and tongues of fire appeared, resting on each of them. These physical manifestations accompanied the coming of the Holy Spirit, revealing the invisible reality of God's presence and activity. The wind, in particular, symbolizes the ongoing, life-giving presence of the Holy Spirit, unseen yet powerful, moving where it wills and producing visible effects in the lives of believers. Just as the wind remains mysterious and uncontrollable, the Holy Spirit's divine origin and nature are reflected in its workings. As we celebrate the solemnity of Pentecost, we remember that this event took place 50 days after Jesus' resurrection. The outpouring of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost marked a pivotal moment in the life of the Church, empowering the apostles to fulfill their mission. The Spirit's presence continues to transform and guide us today, just as it did the early disciples. By embracing the gift of the Holy Spirit, we can experience the same divine strength and boldness that characterized the apostles after Pentecost, and live out our faith with renewed purpose and passion. Let us now still our hearts and turn to God in prayer. Lord, help us to experience your peace and joy in our lives, just as the disciples did when you appeared to them. Fill us with the Holy Spirit, that we may forgive and bring forgiveness to others, and may we be your instruments of peace and love in the world. Thank you for joining us for today's daily Mass readings. God bless you and your family. Subscribe for daily readings, and we will see you tomorrow.